Hi, beautiful souls. This is Sadhana. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm here with an unboxing and initial impressions of the Lowrider Dachshund Tarot by Melissa Wotherspoon. This deck was sent to me by Melissa. She's a fellow Canadian, and I'm really happy to share her deck with you. Her Etsy shop is Painter Spoon, and I'll put all that information in the description box below. So this is a lovely box. Very, very nice box. I noticed on her Etsy shop that you can also purchase the deck for a lesser cost without the box, and it comes in a, looks like it comes in a cotton bag. So there's a couple different options on her shop. And I'm zoomed in quite closely here. Just let me show you this lovely picture on the inside of the box. Wishing you a beautiful journey. And so the cards come in the recessed opening in the box. You've got a little bone there and the ribbon. So really easy to get out of the box. And I've had a couple of looks through the cards, and we will go through the cards, and then I'll show you a couple of the descriptions of the card descriptions in the guidebook. So the backs are completely reversible. And this is my very first landscape horizontal tarot deck. So that's really kind of fun. I've never had a deck where the artwork is in this direction. And once we're done going through the cards, I am going to do one of the spreads that is in the guidebook as well too. So yeah, so let's have a look at the cards, and I'll just kind of share with you some of my initial impressions. Before we get started, I just thought I'd check out the card size. So the cards are ever so slightly wider than a US Games cardstock, and the paper quality is that kind that's perfect for riffle shuffling, which I am one of. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is just share with you one line from the guidebook for each of these cards. And it's really lovely that Melissa has shared with us the name of each of her Dachshund models. I love the ears on this little guy. This is Fritz. Sometimes Dachshunds have blind faith about them and often find themselves leaping across great chasms. Sometimes they make it, and sometimes they don't. But the point is, they don't overthink it while they're doing it. Phoebe is a wizard, and a magician knows how important it is to refine skills, and ideally skills as important as these should be practiced every day. Stella, the high priestess, not even she is fully aware of the mysteries that lie beneath those cushions. A pregnant Bronte is shown warming herself in a glowing pool of light. The power of nature is reflected in her shape, full of life and possibility. Angus has been crowned emperor, and for good reason. Angus is a stable and confident ruler and a good boy. Finn is asserting himself as the keeper of the keys of knowledge in a gentle yet persuasive way. Finn and Sadie snuggle together in a blissful state of deciding to stay in bed. They are bonded to each other in the white purity of the billowing blankets, surrounded by the cosmic forces that are out of our control. I love the purple in the background there. It's so pretty. Ralph, the conquering hero, approaches. Powered by will alone, Ralph chases down a ball at lightning speed with nary a care that his back end didn't get the memo. That's so great. A dinosaur isn't so scary if you view it from the inside. Fritz's strength is not about brute force, but rather about finding courage and vulnerability. Bentley leaves the pack and all the shenanigans behind for a while and makes his way down to a quiet pool where he can reflect. 2 Dachshunds and 2 rabbits circle endlessly around a nebula of stardust. Bentley appears again with his eyes closed, keeping free of bias. Cleo finds herself suspended upside down, and this gives her a new way to look at things. How is that bone going to come out of the ground? In this death card, Melissa memorializes her black and tan Dachshund Tycho. He grips the bottom of a butterfly in his mouth, reminding us that in a way he is still here. And there is an alternate death card in this deck. This is the alternate death card. It's just really, really touching. Sydney has one brown eye and one completely blue eye. We say about Sydney that one eye looks to the ground and the other looks to the sky. Kaiser's ears are chained up, held on a rock pedestal, surrounded by the hot lava of the situation that he himself has created. Piper sits precariously atop a narrow column as the earth groans and bubbles with rivulets of lava all around her. The Dachshund in the star card is Stella. She was the creator's sidekick and her healer. I think this is one of my favorite cards so far. Sometimes what is illuminated in the moonlight is not something that we don't want to see, but something that is there to give us courage to see who we really are. It's really beautiful. Tiny little Humphrey has not opened his eyes yet, but senses the warmth of the sun peeking over his human's shoulder. This is the optimism and wave of positivity that comes after a long period of darkness. It's so sweet. Sydney is demonstrating balance, being raised up and called to action by the trumpet, and floating on the flag, which is a symbol of restored cosmic balance. This is George sitting in a frying pan, and after a meal is cleaned out of a frying pan, Melissa says they lay it down for the dogs to enjoy. This is known as the pre-clean cycle. But sitting in his pan, George is victorious. He has participated in the pre-clean cycle, and he is in harmony with the warm pan. Nothing can ruin the moment. Closure and completion is symbolized in the round shape of the pan, which symbolizes success. Okay, I'm not going to read from the guidebook for each of the aces, but I have gone through and I'll offer some of the things that I remember. But the dogs are just really sweet, and you can definitely pick up on the nuances of the Rider-Waite deck. And so, like I said, after we go through the minors, I'm going to shuffle the cards and share with you one of the spreads that Melissa's included in the book. I love the confetti in this 6. It's great. And there we have 8 wagging tails for the wands. The story of this 10 of Wands is really kind of bittersweet. This is the story of Obi, whose original owners fell into the trap of loving him with food, and at 77 pounds, Obi could barely walk. But his new owners showed him some love and got him moving regularly, and Obi lost 54 pounds in 1 year. Obi is a reminder to never lose sight of your dreams and goals, and even if there are a few pounds of fat or a few sticks in your path, to keep on going. I'd like to see that sense of playfulness in the pages of fire. When I first saw this card, I thought of, it's kind of an after party look, right? This Knight of Wands has definitely played hard. Surprisingly, the tie is still there. And the Queen. Okay. And then we see lots of dog bowls in the aces, which is perfect for cups. And look at these two and the two. So sweet. Three of cups. A bit of tug of war with the pull toy. Four. And you can only imagine how this doggy and the five feels. But I love how that's drawn with the, on the left side of the card, we have the more melancholy scene, and then we have the light, the optimism on the right. That's great. And this is so sweet. You know, that energy of childhood play, summertime, playing with the water, playing with the hose. And I know dogs feel exactly the same way. They love to be fed from the garden hose. Seven of Cups. Eight of Cups, very straight up RWS. Nine of Cups. That looks like one comfy chair. And look at this beautiful cuddle puddle for the 10 of Cups. So sweet. And they don't quite fit in the chair. Maybe it's a doggy bed on the floor. Hard to tell. And here's the Page of Cups. And the Knight. She calls the Knights the doers in the guidebook. And this is a really kind of mysterious Queen of Cups to me. It has that element. There's so much water in this card. And I think there's a waterfall here. It's like we're in a cavern. So yeah. Oh, sweet, sweet dog. And here's the King. I really like this angle when you photograph a dog and you get right up close to the nose. And then here's your Ace of Swords. And Two of Swords. A new toy to a Dachshund brings endless joy, one that includes a squeaker. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh no, the squeaker is broken. This card stalked me after Stella passed. Oh, I see. So we have the squeaker that's fallen out of the toy. So after the creator's dog passed, this card stalked her. It is a card of grief, total heartbreak. Like this fox toy, heartbreak can't be fixed, but it can be transmuted into something else. Take your time and you will find your way through. So yeah, so for some of the cards, you definitely need to go into, oh my God, that's so gorgeous. Look at that Four of Swords. You need to go into the guidebook just to kind of get the backstory. But we do have the, right here, we've got the Four Swords over on this side. So you kind of know what you're looking at. Five. I love the way these low riders stand. I've never owned a Dachshund, but I have always kind of enjoyed their energy. Seven of Swords. Taking what's not yours. This is a really sweet painting. I love this painting for the Eight of Swords. Wow. That's great. 9. And we have a Dachshund X-ray for the Ten of Swords. This card speaks to IBDD, introvertible disc disease, which affects 1 in 4 Dachshunds. In fact, many of the Dachshunds in this deck have been impacted by IBDD. Jumping down from high places is a potential cause of the injury. And you see here these little yellow arrows pointing to the points of the spine that have been affected by IBDD. Sweet Page of Swords. Knight. Queen. There's butterflies in a lot of these sword cards. And then the last suit of Pentacles. That's a great coin. And you have the infinity symbol here. And then I see the rubber duck in the background. I love this card. It just made me laugh when I saw it. So there's the 3 dogs in the dog bed, and they've made a mess of a roll of paper towel. Tremendous amount of joy in the mess that has been created here. 4 of Pentacles. Looks like the doggy has taken somebody else's bed as well as enjoying their own. Beautiful painting for the 5. Yeah, and I was hoping that she would include in these cards a cat and a dog lying together, or 2 different species of animals lying together, because I think that is so characteristic of, you know, the energy of this deck. So we have it in the 6 of Pentacles. It took a lot. I remember in the guidebook she talks about it took a lot of energy for the dog to gain this position on the couch. Dig, dig, dig. Sometimes digging just for the sake of digging, but a lot can be learned in the process. This is really sweet. So you can see here the Dachshund on top of the owner. The Dachshund taking the place of the falcon. 10. And then your last quartz, there's your page. Knight, lying down knight. And this is the same Dachshund that was in the Empress card, which is a nice connection in the deck. And then you have your King of Pentacles. So that is the Lowrider Dachshund Tarot by Melissa Wotherspoon. And I'm just going to shuffle the cards and lay out a spread for you called the Bone Spread, which is actually a really clever spread for making decisions. This spread is from the companion to the Lowrider Tarot by Melissa Wotherspoon. And the spread that I'm going to do right now is the Bone Spread. Which end of the bone should I chew? Which path should I take? And use the spread if you were at a crossroads and need help choosing which way to go. So this is option 1. Option 2. Number 3 is details about option 1 that you are not aware of. And number 4 is details about option 2 that you are not aware of. And then we have the potential outcomes on the top. So this reading I'm doing is for an actual person who is aware of what option 1 is, which looks kind of sweet. It looks like she might have an opportunity to learn something, to begin fresh, move in a new direction possibly, if she chooses option 1. Option 2 is the 8 of Swords. So just looking at those 2 cards, I'm not sure which one you would choose. I know kind of which way I would want to go, but the way that this 8 of Swords is drawn, it looks very much like she's got this in moving in. This Dachshund is moving freely in her own direction, moving bravely, moving forward bravely, and feeling confident and quite certain that, I mean, this feels very independent. This feels a bit like, it feels a little more structured. So these are things that the querent is not aware of about either situation. So in option 2, there's really a sense of playfulness, it seems to me. There may also be a sense of nostalgia, but what I'm really getting is that sense of playfulness. And in option 1, You know, when this card comes up, I think it's really important to ask some questions of the querent, which I will do later, as to which side of the fence that she is on in this situation. And because it's always a challenging card, and with this experience, I'm not quite sure that feels comfortable or right. And then possible outcomes are on the top. This is actually a really sweet spread, because usually when I do a choices spread, I lay out sometimes significators, sometimes not. So this is the energy around A, this is the energy around B, and then I put down clarifying cards. But I like this to have 3 cards for each one. So what is coming up for me on the left-hand side? So option 1 is a bit of a struggle. It's a bit of a struggle. And she might very well get to a place where she wants to be. And notice how we have pentacles here and pentacles here. So this does kind of support the theory of, for me, the learning aspect of it. Perhaps moving into a new business. But because we have the 2 sevens here, it feels kind of uncomfortable for me. But unfortunately over here, we also have a bit of a struggle as well too, and kind of being left out in the cold. And there's that sense of being in the cold, really, in both of these cards, if we look at this seasonally. So which option would you choose? Option A or option B? And I'm going to kind of go through that with the querent when I see her later and share the photograph. But yeah, so this is a really a sweet spread. And I didn't show you this is the beautiful painting from the moon card. I didn't show you the guidebook. So there's no illustrations in the guidebook. We have a few spreads, which is really nice. And then this is what I was reading from when I was going through the majors. So you have a card description, and then you have a card meaning, and then keywords for upright and shadow. And then in the minors, we have the descriptions grouped by number. So for example, 4s, say the 4s represent a rest or a pause in the action. And then there's a short description for each of the cards. And then for the court cards at the back, so we have the knights are the doers, and then here's the description for the Knight of Wands, Knight of Cups. So they're pretty short, sweet descriptions, and all about the same length. So Knight of Swords. And if I kind of go through here, there's a longer one for the Queen of Swords, but they're all about the same length. The pages she calls the feelers. So yeah, so thank you for watching, and I look forward to hearing your feedback on this deck. Let me know if you already have it, and if you're using it, how it's going for you. Stay well, my friends. Namaste.